Traders, thank you for stopping by Options Premium Daily. I'm your host, John, the options trading Prius driver. Yeah. So today we are checking out what I'm watching closing into the week. So we're closing up on our election week. Just as many unknowns as there were the night of the election, kind of. We're starting to finish up some counts. A couple states are changing. As it sits, I think Pennsylvania looks like it's in contention. Nevada, they're still waiting on. I guess we're looking for those sweet, sweet couple electoral votes from Nevada somehow. Go figure. But nonetheless, that still does lead to a few things. I really find it interesting that the market knows what they were going to expect from Trump. Basically, volatility, him crying, moaning about the election process and procedure, and it seems like no one's really giving weight to that. Instead, they're wanting to see the votes and have those come in. So that does leave a little room for interpretation. Maybe, say, I don't know, something out of left field, the Supreme Court, goes in his favor. I don't know. There could be a million ways this goes. Really, I'm thinking that there's possibility for volatility in the later weeks to come. So where I see that is, you hear the term lame duck presidency, and that's basically the time between the changing of the guard. So let's just assume maybe Biden becomes president. Fine. Well, you're going to have a volatile president who always wants to leave things worse than when he came. So what will happen is maybe he starts passing certain things or making moves that are a little bit more retaliatory. That could lead to some volatility that we don't understand yet or have seen. Hence the, like the idea of a black swan in nature. But I'm not necessarily banking on it. I have some hedges in place just in case. But really, like I'd said, we aren't going below 25 on the VIX, I don't think. I think we're going to stay around these levels and then possibly elevate going into the end of the month and waiting on this definitive set of counts. If we have recounts, this might take even longer. But keep in mind, no one's paying attention to COVID right now, and that will start taking place too. So there's a few factors we need to look into. Now let's check out a few things, and then I'll show you what I'm looking at for the week and for next week. So as we're looking at the SPY, the S&P 500 has soared quite a bit. We're heading very swiftly towards resistance. 358.75 is that level. So there is a strong possibility maybe we test this level and go back down, or we come up and hover, or we shoot past it. I think the last one has the least of probabilities. I think this is going to be paid respect to for sure. So maybe we're in this new level where we trade between the 358.75 and then this previous high before COVID earlier in the year at like 339 or so. So keep your eyes peeled. We will see how this looks. Let's go to the Qs really quick. You'll see a pretty okay uptrend, but same thing, there's a lot of gaps that maybe could be filled. The volume, not to my liking. I'd prefer to see volume like we saw here in early September, but that was obviously with a correction. So it seems like we will be in a trading range, most likely, but based on that leads me to a few other things that I'm looking at. So with us getting into the securities I'm checking out and looking to trade, I can't help but always explain this is not investment advice. This is educational purposes only. Make sure you do your research and that you understand the risks with options and trading and the markets. So with that being said, Palantir is kind of my darling here. I'm thinking that over the long term, Palantir will not only double, but maybe go well beyond that in the near to longer term. Let's say medium to longer term cycle. So based on that, I am slowly building up a actual stock position, but I've also been getting a lot of leaps too. So some long-term options that are about 300, 400, 800 days out in the thoughts that these will reach those price levels in the future. So Palantir, one to look at. Since we broke this resistance level at about 11, we tested it a few days back, and then actually came down higher low, great, and then we soared even higher. We did bounce off 12, and when I was kind of day trading this a little bit, I ended up seeing that 12 became a natural resistance level. So I got out okay profit. I was happy with it for the day. But Palantir is a winner. That's one to look at. So super bullish Palantir. Neo. Holy Neo moly. So I've started actually taking profits off the table on Neo. The fact that this is now starting to become like almost like a meme stock on Wall Street Bets. This is where you have sort of the smart money and dumb money. People are just buying into this now. I am being smart, so I don't want to be someone who gets caught holding while it drops completely. So taking some profit off the table is very smart in this situation, at least for me. I'm not necessarily bearish on Neo, but you can't have 2 to 3 weeks of just straight up days without expecting a drop. So, if you're going from a probabilistic standpoint, I love Neo. I like where it's headed, but we do need some consolidation. If you look in the past, we go up, consolidate, up, consolidate, up, consolidate, right? We have shot up. We need to figure out either a consolidation or a little drop, and then more consolidation there. So Neo, big winner. Let's look at their weekly too, just for fun. It might be hard since you don't see much there, but to give you an idea, probably one of the biggest weeks in terms of movement. And if we do close near the highs for the week, that is strong. That's a good long-term bullish signal for Neo. Tesla, other big, semi-okay move today in terms of where we're headed. If you just look at some natural trend lines, we're kind of closing in on them again, meaning we either respect a certain trend line or we tighten up and then shoot out past the trend line. So I am a bit bullish on Tesla as well. Long term, I am crazy bullish on Tesla, and I like the way this chart is set up. With this, we could even go out, and that would even constitute maybe a possibility for support. So we will see where this heads, but I do have a few options that have decayed nicely. There's some put credit spreads in Tesla, and I do have some shares in this in my retirement account, so keep that in mind. Okay, next, GLD. Holy cow, gold broke out. So I posted on Twitter a really nice long-term trade, and it has already printed about 30% gain, I believe. So I'm really happy with that. But if you are not following me on Twitter, you better get on there, check it out. Gold, though, looking good. I love the long-term prospects here. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, that's good. So we've consolidated. We've held a nice support level. Tried to test it last week, and now we are breaking out. So the next natural spot I see us heading towards is close to the highs, and then over, say, these next few months, I see us hitting 200 and higher. Gold is just set up way too well right now. The macro, if someone's into fundamentals and macro, they are looking great, and that leads me to the next one, silver, SLV. Similar chart. If I had to pick one, I'm actually a bigger fan of gold personally, but they're both kind of correlated quite well. So, keep that in mind between the two. Next, let's look at Bitcoin. Fresh smoking highs for the year. We have passed what so 1400 to me felt like a pretty good resistance level that we had to break through. We have broken it and gone even higher than I expected. So I am happy with that. I have kind of like a doomsday hedge related to this, and I'm not really wanting to be a quick profit taker or anything related. So I do see the next level after we kind of test back down to 1400. We are heading to 20,000. Like, that is for sure. So that's pretty neat. It does show a lot of really, like, this chart pattern is insane. Like, to me, something that even 2 years ago I didn't care for. I was like, I'll wait and see how it goes. I'm starting to see a lot of economic policy, a lot of politicians, which I guess would be related to, sort of validating this in a way, just in their actions alone. So that's kind of neat. Bitcoin is something that would take a much longer video to talk about, but that is what I've been watching. And then another good one today, Nvidia. Interesting action that it gapped and is actually going lower, but the uptrend is still present. So, keeping an eye on that. We are looking at maybe some consolidation, but it's been a strong week for Nvidia so far. Basically 63 points. So I will take that. But that's everything I've been watching so far. I'm curious if there's anything you guys think or what the trade is coming next week. What do you expect? What are we seeing politically and with our economic policy? So, nonetheless, I thank you for stopping by, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye bye.